morning, goeiemorgen, and welcome to another 30 minutes of God. And goeiemorgen for you.
Goeiemorgen.
How's our use?
I'm good.
Ja. We're back to English today, I see.
Mm.
All right. Let me just get this camera
I
fast.
spoke to someone last night and I really struggled with the English. I
Why?
think it was just too late. It was like 10 o'clock or something.
I had a late night last night and the previous night, so yeah, I do understand. But luckily they were all in my mother tongue, so it wasn't that too bad. So what's happening? Interesting things in New Zealand is happening. Actually, there's a lot of COVID cases and we're running around and life is normal basically, except we're still in red light.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but this morning we thought we'll talk to you about the cost of living in New Zealand. Now we have done this before. I want to put the disclaimer down there. We have done this before.
I think the prices went up a little.
The prices went up a little. So this isn't a heruitsending. You know the stuff when you watch what's the Bruce Willis movie at December? Always one another Christmas theme, and so this is not one of those. Yeah, so we want your input as well this morning. I'm going to get us that we can have the comments is up there as well. So if you want to leave your comment on prices, please. And good morning, Benita. Good morning, Dion, that's joined us on the other channel. We've played around with prices, and since we last did this, which was about 2 years ago, prices has increased
quite a bit.
How much has hair prices increased?
Not that much.
Okay, still not. All right. So what will the average person in New Zealand pay? So we're trying to get an average on this. We're trying to get a figure that you can look at, a figure that you can, especially if you're in South Africa, a figure that you can relate to and think back and say, I need this amount of money.
Yeah, because we have quite a few people ask if this is what we earn, will we be able to make a living?
Yeah, that was quite an important question. We had the question over the weekend, and somebody said, I'm earning this amount of money. Will I be able to live here? And they were really worried, and it was a good salary. To be quite frank, it was a good salary, and they were really worried, are they going to live or be able to live with that amount of money? So, let's go back to rent.
Yeah, let's start.
Let's start.
The beginning. I think rent is also, it depends on where you live. If you're in Auckland, it may be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
In Tauranga, I think rent at the moment, you can't really find anything below $600 a week.
Let's go for $650.
Then it's a good place.
That's a good place.
Yeah. You may be able to find something for below 600, but then it's going to be really small or really, unless you're very lucky.
Except if you're staying there in the Brains Bay in Auckland, then you've got to be Lani. It's $1,200 a week.
I think in Auckland it may be a little bit more, and there are places here that's more.
Now, guys, I'm just joking. You guys that's living in Auckland, I mean, you are paying the price. Really.
Yeah, but I think for 600 or 650, you can work on that.
Still, if you are very fussy and you wanted 3 toilets or something like that, you are going to pay more. But an entry-level house that's not too bad.
Yeah, we're now working on people that come here and want to.
They come at Liesl Nell, East Auckland, 3-bedroom between 700 and 800.
East I know.
Oh my goodness.
More expensive there.
All right. Okay. So you've just arrived in the country, because that's basically what we were thinking of. And you are going to pay about $650 for rent. Water, not everybody pays for water.
Yeah, I know the South Island doesn't pay for water, and I don't know what we pay for water. I know it's not much.
It's roughly around $20 per month. No, that's a bit more. It's about $100. That's about $20. That's about $100. Sorry, it's about $100 per 3 months. That's how they work that out. So that comes down to about $10. Let's work from $10 per week. Okay. Then you're fine.
Yeah.
Electricity also differs to the amount that you guys are using. That is one of those things that I saw. Our electricity is currently around $200 per month, so that comes back to $50. I know some people are talking higher amounts of that.
Yeah, and it can be much lower because I use my tumble dryer a lot every day.
But
And
other thing is, what's not included in this is my hot water cylinder. I just want to get the
oh,
terminology right. It's not a geyser, it's a hot water cylinder
okay,
because a hot water cylinder is on gas.
okay, but we get
No, no,
on
no.
gas now.
That's just a separate.
And we have got a few aircons, and with this heat, the aircons are running every
Yeah.
day. So I think that $50 a week can be much less
So
if
I've heard somebody's had hot flushes in this house.
if you don't use your tumble dryer and the aircons, it can be less.
Can be
Then.
less probably. Um, then gas. We use gas for the. Okay, listen, now selling electricity between $80 to $100 per month. That's not bad.
Okay.
Gas stove and hot water. Okay, so
Yeah.
that is also out. Um, I've just worked on gas. We use about a cylinder every 5 to 6 weeks. I've just used on $25 for gas. Then internet, I run a 1 gig line from here. You can probably go a bit lower, but it's not that much cheaper. That's a joke. It's about $20 cheaper for a smaller line than the biggest line you can get. So I've worked on $25 per week, and I'm running this per week. I'll get back to the figures now on what's that will cost per month, and then yeah, per week, full amount, then per month, and then I'll give you an idea of what it's going to cost you per year. Food.
Yeah.
That's a variable because what we as a family eat, other people will think
Yeah.
it's way too much or too little.
Yeah. Let me. The food prices have gone up quite excessively,
Yeah.
and
So
over
what
the,
are you guys paying for food?
I'll tell
Let's
you now.
let's see what they
Oh,
also say.
over the past month, I heard on the radio as well the other day that the food prices went up in January
Yep.
alone with quite a lot. So I think we as a family use about um, between 280 and $300 a week.
So we put in $300.
Mm,
All right. Keep in mind we're four
for
adults.
adults, and
Four
that
adults.
includes um, wine, and it
Oh.
includes all the
Hmm.
cleaning stuff, because that is quite, it's not expensive, but it adds up. So that includes cleaning stuff. Yeah, so if you, it can be less. It won't have to be that much. I don't know what you guys are using for
So
food.
what are you guys doing for food? Let's get two adults and two kids or something like that because we are four adults.
Yeah,
And we all
250.
250 a
Yeah,
week.
yeah,
250 a week.
yeah. If you're only two adults, then it can be less.
You can let's be honest. You can probably skimp way more.
You can.
You can probably skimp
You
way more.
can.
There's another one, 350.
Yeah.
Family of four.
Back and
Yep.
save. We
Back
also
and
buy
save.
it at Back and Save.
Back and save.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, some weeks I go a little bit over budget, but that is just when I buy some luxuries, which is not
So
necessary.
we'll talk about that now. Guys, while you're back and save, I told this to other people the weekend and they actually came back to me and said, we've seen it. Have a look at the name tags on the sides of
That little stock money key,
the stock
Back
money
and
key.
Save money key.
Sometimes he'll show you to up and it will say roof, or he'll show down and it will say dinosaurs. So have a look and see if you can buy that.
It's really funny.
Anita Clark saying we found buying fruit and veg at our local farmers market. It's way cheaper. Yep, but
Yeah, it
we
can
don't
be
have
cheaper.
a real local.
We have got one every Saturday, but they don't have all the stuff that you need. But
Saturdays, I'm in the
one.
bush. Or
Yeah, well, that's
fishing,
your
so.
problem. We've got a farmers market.
Can't let farmers deliver. So what are we going to do about food? Food 250 or 300?
No, I think make it.
I think we should go for 300.
Yeah, 300. That is not if you're only two people. If you're only two people, it will be way less.
Yeah, so for two people, you can go less than 200.
Yeah. Then we've got rubbish removal. Is that included in your bill from the council these days?
It depends. It depends. If you're in a rental, the landlord normally has to pay that because that's part of the rates and taxes.
Yeah.
They could sometimes. I think they could. I don't know. Don't quote me on this. I know they could probably shove it back to you either in the increase in rental. But we had a JG something place bin that we always used. And that was about $10 per week, $9 per week. Actually, we still got the same bin that we use, even from our rentals. We still went on with the same
Yeah,
same
but
bill.
so is the rubbish included in the council bill? That's what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
it is included in
Okay.
the council bill. Just we have more rubbish than so.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Then petrol.
Somebody just saying Auckland basics to adult and to kids.
I think if you've
plus.
got babies.
No, look there. No nappies or formula enclosed.
Shucks.
Okay, let's put that price.
No.
I'm uncomfortable. You think we leave it at 300?
I think leave it at 300
Okay.
because that's just the average. I think we'll work on average. Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep the messages coming in wild. So that's good, guys. That's good. Keep it up there.
Okay,
and then the next one will be petrol.
Yeah.
That's one thing you can't get without.
No. So I was just telling him you got a diesel car,
Yeah,
so that's different. But I fill my car up once a month, I'd say, and it costs me about $120 a month.
I do the diesel twice a month at least without us going to the bush. That's about $80. So that's just for seeing the client. No, I'm lying. Whoa. It was $80 about 6 months ago. It's gone up to over $100 now. Petrol, I forgot. I'm stuck in
the petrol went up quite a bit.
Geez, yeah, petrol went up quite a bit. Now that I think of that. Yeah. It always was $80.
And explain to them about the diesel, what's that extra?
Oh, yeah, you got road users tax. That is about nearly $800 for 10,000 kilometers if you've got a diesel vehicle. And that you need to pay. You get a little sticker that you put onto your vehicle as well. And then you get your WAFs.
Yes.
Yeah, WAF is another about $55 per year. And now saying her car's about $120.
Yeah, it's about the same.
I don't know how often she pulls the car. That's a big thing. So I've got to put that petrol up a bit. That petrol, let's go to $70 a week.
That is if you want to fill up, I say twice
a month, roughly. And the other thing there is that is not if you're driving a heck of a lot. I think if you're in Auckland traffic, you'll probably be more. But you know what? Auckland, they pay more.
I know they pay some kind of tax.
They've got another road tax or stuff like that. I can't see what happens.
You see, all these prices, it just depends on where you're living. Yeah. So, but this is just the average price. Okay, then for
interesting thing, we've got a very, very small place between here and Taupo. Small little town. And every time I drive past there, I've always found that their diesel prices, I don't know petrol prices, their diesel price is the cheapest I've ever seen.
We'll drive to Taupo to fill up.
So yeah. Insurance, let's say life insurance, you can probably get away for family with about $50 per. Then you have good life insurance.
A week.
A week, yeah. Then you will have really good life insurance, you and the wife, and you know the kids are sorted out.
Okay.
So that's good life insurance. Insurance on your cars, I've worked roughly at I've just worked on all the cars, about $20 per week. And then the phones. Phones is about $10 per week. We pay about, I've got 3 phones, 3 different contracts, and that's about $100 per month. So I think $10 per week if you just have a normal phone. You can do a lot of the normal phones or normal contract down here. So back to Auckland average house price roughly between $850 to $950. But that's something you've got to put into your budget of where you are going to live. So this is something that somebody sounds expensive to live in New Zealand.
It is not cheap to live here.
It's not cheap to live here.
But it is possible. It's not difficult.
And for the South Africans, but still in South Africa, how much do we put up for security there?
That's the thing.
Nothing.
Yeah. And some of the stuff, I mean, like insurance is much cheaper here than it is in South Africa.
Definitely much cheaper.
You don't have to pay for security. You don't.
You can get away with not having a medical aid or health cover, as we call it here. South Africans call it medical aid. You can get away with that. You can get away. The hospitals you go to, if you're in South Africa, it's quite reasonable, decent hospitals, very much like what's that, Metal Life, what's that?
Yeah.
Yep. So,
But yes, it is expensive, but it's not impossible.
mm.
You
But
can.
I want to go back to that. It's not cheap, but so worth it. That's from Renier. And that's really, guys,
You can't put a price on the way that you live in New Zealand.
you can't put a price the way we are living in New Zealand. You can't put a price. There's absolutely no dollar figure that.
And you know what we've learned? Because when we arrived in New Zealand, we were still working on South African rand, and Jan was not earning a lot of money. I wasn't working,
Mm.
and we really thought we will not be able to make it.
Yep.
And we did. You can cut on a lot of these prices if you have to. And you know what? We South Africans.
We
You
survived
just do it.
We've survived
You just do it.
There's just a thing from Elisa Nell saying school clothes are stupid expensive.
That's
I've
the
heard
thing
that.
that we can't put on the list because we've got no idea what the schools cost, how much it is a week. We don't know how much school clothes are, so that is something that you'll have to budget for
On your own.
separately
I'm not even going to try this morning.
Yeah.
Let's do a few other things. We've worked up to a point where we are currently at $1,220 roughly per week.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's other stuff that's happening. You don't live in a bubble. You're gonna go and have a coffee from time to time. You want to take your wife for breakfast. You don't need to do it every day. But let's say a breakfast on a weekend cost us how much?
A breakfast, that also depends on where you have your breakfast. If you want to go to a nice place like a coffee shop or something and have a really nice breakfast, you can get a nice breakfast from between $18 to $24, I'd say.
Okay, so for two people, let's say $50. Who's going to have a coffee and all that other?
Yeah, if you have a coffee, then you can make it $50 for two people. But that is then when you have a really nice breakfast. We go for breakfast sometimes there's a place in Sulphur Point. It's just like a marine cafe or whatever, but they do toasted sandwiches, they do omelets and whatever. So then you pay, what is it, $7?
It's only $7 plus a coffee is $12.
Yeah, so that's not expensive. So we also have a bakery that's got a very good breakfast.
For $20 you can get
two breakfasts.
Breakfast and coffee.
And coffee. And for it's like toast and eggs and bacon for $20 for two people. That's really not expensive. A coffee is about $5. How much is a coffee?
Yeah, but let's work on Auckland prices. I've heard they've got an increase of coffee there.
No, but we're not in Auckland, so let's work on Tauranga prices.
Coffee is about, let's work on average about $6. So I drink a large flat white. Okay. That's roughly about $6. Let's say you have two per week.
Yeah. Okay, then another thing that I just want to say, if you go out for breakfast or lunch or dinner or whatever, that's what I normally do, because I think the price of your drink is half the price of your dinner. It's really expensive. I mean, a glass of wine is $12.
Yeah.
So I tend to just not drink something. Because you get very nice cold water, they bring it to the table. Every restaurant you get.
They have cold water as much as you want to.
Yes. So especially with breakfast, I'm not very fond of coffee.
I want to quickly put this up on the screen because this, and I know this is 6 years ago. 6 years ago, when we arrived, my husband was earning $18 an hour. I never worked because my daughter was too young for school, but we made it. If you budget a bargain, you can have a comfortable life. It can be done. You have to think smart.
Yes.
I know this is 6 years ago, and I know it's probably $18 is not there anymore, but somebody has already made it.
Yep.
And a lot of other South Africans, a lot of other viewers already made it.
Remember, I don't think it changed that much because he earned $18, but the prices were lower. So now you earn $25, $27.
That's an entry level basis.
And the prices went up. But you can make it. And I think you must just have, it's all about the mindset that you've got.
All about mindset. But actually, you have been popping around the next one on my list, which is hair. How much does hair cost?
You know, that's the one thing that you can't tell
Can't
a
tell your husband.
lady not that she can't go to have a hair colored or cut away. That is
So-
something that you have to
Okay,
do.
so technically, your hair and my fishing cost basically the same.
It's fishing is a luxury.
No, it's essential.
Hair
It's
is not a luxury. I know. I'm just gonna talk about what I pay in Tauranga with my hairdresser. I know I'm gonna get a lot of slack for this because I know that mostly it's much more
All
expensive.
right, there's this price coming in $180 for half a head of foils and a cut.
Okay. So at my hairdresser, I can get away at about between 140 and 100 and no, yeah, $140 because I do my pedicures there as well, and then it's more expensive. But for hair, $140 for a cut, color, foils, and a blow dry.
I've heard pictures or prices last week of about $600. That was in Auckland. I don't know if that's real. I just saw what ladies were commenting on prices
no,
on.
that's a little bit.
So I thought, wow,
I think
this is
the
hectic.
most expensive that I've heard was about $280.
Okay.
I haven't heard
So
about
what
the
shall we put
$600.
here for 250?
I think you can for a week.
No. Let's say 250 for once. How often do you do your hair?
No,
Once a year.
I don't know. Is $250 a good price to put on? What do you ladies pay for your hair?
Benita say hair is ridiculously expensive.
And now I'm not lying.
As it's Auckland, 180 full head
Okay.
of foils.
Put 180. It sounds like a good price.
How often do you do this?
Once a month.
Okay, so 180 divided by 4 gives me $45 per week.
Okay. Beauty. Well, let's put nails in there. Someone put nails. If that's luxury, you don't have to do it. But put in nails if you really want to do your nails.
I've got to say something.
Yeah.
I've got to say something. You are happier when you had your hair and your nails done than without that. So it's important to keep the other one in your life very happy.
Yes, but in the beginning, I also didn't do it because you know that you
It
have
was
to
hectic.
cut on the expenses.
250. Because 250 for half head of foils.
Okay,
What is a
that's
half
too
head
bad.
of foils?
It's not a full head of foils.
So you only do the one half.
Just here and there.
There's a schoolgirl here. I gotta tell you this. There's a schoolgirl. I see her every morning when we drive. When I drive past her, she's probably on this special of half a head because the one half of her hair is white. The other half is pitch black.
I know. You get funny stuff.
So this is probably something that she'll go for half a head.
Benita, luckily I have got my own budget now.
Yeah, that's the problem with.
Okay, so if you want to go for your nails, I
What is
think
nails?
$65
How often?
once a month.
Okay, so 65 divided by 4 equals $16 per week.
That's not actually expensive. It's like one breakfast.
That's set of hooks, Europala.
Makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to go to a beauty therapist,
Let's do the beauty thing in the total.
For let's say if you just want to go to for eyebrow and lip wax, because that's the most most important, shall I say? I think I went yesterday and it was $40, I think, for eyebrow and lip.
And how often do you do that?
About every 3 weeks.
So roughly about $12 per week.
Yeah. If you want to go for a facial, that's also, but that I know that's a luxury, but it's so good for you. So once a month facial, you can get away with $100 for a facial. That's it.
Europala. If you don't know what it is, it's good.
What?
That's the thing you catch fish with.
Oh.
Shauna just saying on the other side, you can buy everything to have your nails done in a set. I know that, but not everybody is that smart to do their own nails. Somebody said you need to budget for dentists. Dentists are very expensive in this country. That's really, really so.
Do you know what I also, now that Shauna's saying that, um, I find that people go back to that. I
Mm.
know of hairdressers that go and have their nails done at a client, and then the client comes and have their hair cut at the hairdresser, and so they just kind of, or someone will, maybe you've got a cleaning business,
Yeah.
and you clean someone's house, but in return, she does your nails or something. So
Okay.
people go back to that, and it's actually so nice.
Back to the old market
Yeah, no,
thing.
it makes sense. It's
You
really
do
a good
business
idea.
with what do they do business with? Salt. Pay each other with salt. So, all right, we've got 4 minutes left.
I know.
Quick recap.
Well,
We've done a lot of stuff, and I think we've covered the basics. There's a lot of stuff still out here. We haven't done babies, we haven't done nappies, we haven't done formula milk, we haven't done school clothes, we haven't done, and all of this stuff is extra to your weekly. But currently,
yeah,
you need $1,343 per week
okay.
just for the stuff we've covered. And this is quite the basics. Plus, that means that includes the hair, that includes the nails, the breakfast, the coffees. So roughly,
it includes a weekly break. Okay, that's for a week. Yeah, so
yeah, that's for a
you
week.
can go for breakfast every
You
week.
can go for breakfast every week.
Yeah.
The second you do 2 breakfasts per week, you have a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So that brings us to roughly about $70,000 per year. That's before tax. Now you're going to add tax to that and then see where you are.
Yeah.
So if you're earning back in your pocket, let me say about $80,000, you're not doing too badly.
No.
You're not doing too badly. And this is not, I know there's a lot of people earning way more than this. And I'm glad guys are earning good money.
Yeah.
I'm really glad about that.
But you can do with less.
Yeah.
Depending on where you live, I don't think you should think that you can go and live in Auckland with $70,000 a year and have a good life. I don't think that's.
You can start off in this country with $70,000 a year in your pocket.
Yeah.
You can. It's going to be some budgeting, and eventually your salary is going to go up, and the wife will probably get a job somewhere or the partner.
And the thing is, it's not like you're going to sit at home and do nothing, because you must remember that all the things, or most of the things in New Zealand that you can do are free.
Yep.
The parks are free. I mean, there are so many things that you can watch. You can go and watch every waterfall, every whatever outside.
I don't know. That's not everybody's cup of tea. But Benita also says children cost lots of money. It is so. Kids are expensive.
I know.
So,
And like I say, don't think you're going to live in Auckland with this budget.
Yeah, you got to up this budget at least by 20% or so just for Auckland. So keep that in mind. Rental being the biggest thing. Rental being the biggest
I think the rental and the petrol is more expensive, and so the hair is more. Yeah, I think just find yourself a hairdresser that works from home, a nice, good old South African hairdresser, and then you're good to go.
I don't go for too old. They probably can't see what they're doing.
Yeah. It's like Marcel is saying, life here is worth paying the price. So just take whatever you have and just work out a budget that works for you.
Yeah. And guys, if you can stick to your budget, you are going to make it here. I know people complain about prices going up and so forth. But this morning when I came downstairs, we've got a double-story house, so we sleep at the top, nobody at the bottom. I came downstairs, our glass door, believe it or not, wasn't locked. And it's one of those
You
things.
don't have to worry about it.
No.
It is so worth it.
And my alarm didn't go off in the middle of the night, waking the whole neighborhood because we haven't gotten a lock.
I don't think you can explain the peace you have.
I want to put a disclaimer here. I know there's certain areas in Auckland that's not the nicest areas to live in.
There are areas like that everywhere.
So get yourself a nice area to live in. And if you want to really live rural and you can work work
from
rural.
home. Yeah.
Correct. Not always just from home. I mean, a school teacher don't need to be in Auckland.
Yeah.
A school teacher can be in the smallest little town and live the life they've always
Yeah.
dreamt about.
Yeah.
So, all right,
Okay.
guys and girls, that's us reminiscent about the increases in prices.
But I just want to say, yesterday when I
Oh,
went to Pack and Save, I bought tomatoes for 99 cents.
and if you do it in the middle of the winter, the same tomatoes will be $12.
I know.
Crazy, crazy. So that's another thing. You can either overspend on stuff that you don't really buy in season. That's
Yeah,
another thing.
we
Buy in
learned that
season. Yeah.
very quickly.
And don't grow your own stuff. Yeah, it's nice to grow your own stuff. But when I saw tomatoes was $12, I actually planted a heck of a lot of tomato plants. By the time my tomatoes was ready, tomatoes in the shop was cheaper than what I could produce them for.
Don't tell people not to grow their own
No,
stuff.
no, everybody can grow their own stuff. It's nice to grow your own stuff, but don't think that is going to
Don't
be.
catch your own fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking about fishing, we're having a fishing competition. We'll down here in Tauranga, so I hope we see a lot of you guys. Bring your boat, bring it up, and we will advertise that competition from next week. You can start getting your tickets for that. We've had a heck of a lot of sponsors already. There's a lot of money already invested in this competition. So, all right, guys, that's me. Say bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. See you all.